Okay, hi. Um, in this video, I'm going to explain about photosynthesis for lecture. For this video, the learning outcome is to overview the photosynthesis process. Then I'm going to discuss about absorption spectrum of photosynthetic pigment. The first subtopic is to outline the complete process of photosynthesis, which includes light dependent, and light independent reactions. And then you have to be able to state the photosynthetic pigments involved in photosynthesis. Where does photosynthesis occur? The organelles involved is chloroplast. So basically, we are going to learn a detailed structure of the chloroplast. Because chloroplasts contain photosynthetic pigment. These pigments are embedded in the thylakoid membrane. They are embedded in thylakoid membrane, similar to protein embedded in the plasma membrane. So pigments, so chlorophyll, such as chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B, they play an important role in the absorption of light energy. But the main photosynthetic pigment, which is the most important, is chlorophyll A. Chlorophyll A. The electromagnetic spectrum, the visible light that we receive every day from the sunlight, range from 380 nanometer to 750 nanometer, and different wavelength will actually different wavelength shows different colors. Violet has the shortest wavelength, the indigo, while red has the longest wavelength. Basically, we should be able to identify two types of pigments. First, the chlorophylls, and then the carotenoids. So under chlorophylls, we have chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. The color for chlorophyll A is blue-green pigment, while chlorophyll B is yellow-green pigment. While carotenoids, there are a few types of carotenoids, which include xanthophyll, carotene, and phytine. Chlorophyll absorbs blue and red light, while carotenoids will absorb violet and blue-green light. Violet, blue, and red light portions of the spectrum is the most effective wavelength that empower the photosynthesis. This is a structure of chlorophyll. It's a porphyrin ring and contain hydrocarbon chain. You don't have to memorize the structure. Why are plants seen as green? Because the chlorophyll absorb violet, blue, and red light, while they reflect the green light. The blue and red light are effective colors to stimulate photosynthesis because they contain enough sufficient energy to drive the photosynthesis. On the thylakoid membrane, the chlorophyll is organized with protein and smaller organic molecules into photosystem. This photosystem acts like a light gathering antenna complex. Light gathering meaning when the sunlight reach the leaf. So in the leaf, there are so many chloroplasts, and in the chloroplasts, there are pigments. So when the light reach the leaf, the pigments will absorb the energy, the solar power. So the energy will then be channeled to the reaction center of the photosystem. Photosystem. This is a set of photosystem. So a photosystem includes the primary electron, includes the reaction center. The photosystem includes reaction center and light harvesting complex. So in the reaction center here, it is composed of primary electron acceptor and the reaction center itself, the chlorophyll. So this is why we say chlorophyll A is the main electron, is the main photosynthetic pigment, the primary photosynthetic pigment. Kenapa? Because it is the reaction center of photosystem. So reaction center, the chlorophyll A, and then it should have the primary electron acceptor. So the rest of this is the light harvesting complex, which is called accessory pigment molecule, which includes the other types of chlorophyll, such as chlorophyll B, the carotenoids. What does accessory pigments do? They will absorb the photon or the light energy, and then the energy is then passed to the reaction center, the primary reaction center. There are two types of photosystem. First is photosystem 1 and then photosystem 2. Photosystem 1 contain chlorophyll A P700, means this type of chlorophyll A will absorb light at 700 nano wave, the wavelength of the light energy, the sunlight that will be absorbed by chlorophyll A is the 700 nanometer. While for photosystem 2, it will absorb at wavelength 680. Thus, it will be labeled as chlorophyll A or P680. So, what we should remember is photosystem 2, P680, while photosystem 1, P700. What is photosynthesis? It's a process by which light energy is converted to chemical energy from carbon dioxide and H2O in the presence of sunlight. Photosynthesis occurs in plants, algae, and other unicellular protista such as euglena, anything that contain chloroplast or chlorophyll. This is a general equation of photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide along with water will produce glucose and oxygen. In the presence of light, green plants produce organic compound, which is the glucose, and also oxygen. There are two stages of photosynthesis: the light-dependent reaction, which depends on light; light-independent reaction. It does not require light energy. So light-dependent reaction require light energy. Light-independent reaction does not require light energy. Both occurs in the chloroplast. While light-dependent reaction here, it occurs on the thylakoid membrane, while light-independent reaction occurs in the stroma, the matrix of the chloroplast called stroma. Light-dependent reaction require photon. Photon is the light energy. The photon will be absorbed by photosynthetic pigment and then converted to chemical energy such as ATP and NADPH. These two substance products of the light-dependent reaction will be used in the light-independent reaction later on. During this process, during the light-dependent reaction, oxygen is released as byproduct and ATP produced through photophosphorylation. Sama macam phosphorylation yang kita belajar sebelum ni, tapi ni ada foto sebab dia melibatkan tenaga daripada photon. This is a diagram that shows light-dependent reaction which involve both photosystem 2 and photosystem 1. Dia memang kedudukan dia photosystem 2 dulu, baru photosystem 1. The component of light-dependent reaction includes the ETC. Okay, ETC is electron transport chain, almost similar to what you have learned in cellular respiration. But what differs is the component itself. ETC in photosynthesis includes ferredoxin, cytochrome complex, and plastocyanin. Light-independent reaction requires more ATP than an ADPH. So, when light-independent reaction requires more ATP than an ADPH, the non-cyclic photophosphorylation will occur. When ATP is needed more than an ADPH during light-independent reaction, maksud macam ni. The product of light-dependent reaction is ATP and ADPH. So these two substances will be used in the light-independent reaction. While light-dependent reaction, dia ada dua. Satu yang cyclic berkita. Ini cyclic ni melibatkan photosystem 1 sahaja. Jadi photosystem 1 sahaja dia akan activated apabila Kelvin cycle nanti light independent reaction dia memerlukan lebih ATP berbanding NADPH. Jadi bila tak perlu sangat NADPH, instead it needs ATP more. So cyclic photophosphorylation will occur to produce more ATP. So this is where ATP is produced. The photophosphorylation. The ETC provides energy for ATP synthesis. Okay. As electron is passed from photosystem 2 and then primary electron acceptor in the photosystem 2 and then go to the plastoquinone, and then plastoquinone pass the electron to the cytochrome complex and then to the PC, plastocyanin, and to the photosystem 1. From photosystem 1, it will transfer electron to the ferredoxin and then to the last electron acceptor, the NADP+. So this is the complex named as NADP reductase, because NADP will receive the electron from this complex and reduce to NADPH+H+. And NADPH will go to Kelvin cycle, during which the chemiosmosis occurs and produce ATP. As electron pass through the cytochrome complex, hydrogen ion will be pumped to thylakoid space. Thylakoid space that used in this is the thylakoid space. Ni hydrogen ion. Okay. And then hydrogen ion, as its concentration increase here, it will flow through the ATP synthase. Similar to chemiosmosis that occurs in cellular respiration. So this one produce ATP. ATP will be used in Kelvin cycle. Light independent reaction named as Kelvin cycle, also known as Kelvin cycle, is a stage of photosynthesis that produces sugar. It begins with carbon fixation. So it needs carbon dioxide. And an ADPH+H+ and ATP here, and ADPH from the light dependent reaction, ATP from light dependent reaction. These two substances are required to help in the Kelvin cycle. So that's all for overview of photosynthesis. Thank you for listening.